Hello, everyone. I'm Leticia, and I'm a member of FORRT. If you don't know yet about FORRT, we are a community-driven organization that mainly aims to assist educators in integrating open scholarship tenets with higher education. As one of our initiatives, we try to provide a platform where educators can share their stories, experiences, successes, and hardships, as well as their educational practices and initiatives that may be of interest to the academic community. Johannes Haushofer is an assistant professor of economics at Stockholm University, and he has kindly accepted our invitation to talk a little bit with us today about his initiative called Remote Student Exchange. So, Johannes, thank you very much for being here, and thank you also for putting together an initiative that we think is quite important from a diversity, equity, and inclusion perspective. We
Thank you.
have we have collected some questions that our community would like to ask you about your initiative. But if it's okay, before we start, could you perhaps briefly explain what is the Remote Student Exchange Initiative for someone that has not yet come across it?
Yeah, great. Thanks for having me. So it's a website that links professors around the world with students from low and middle income countries. So these professors can decide to open up their ongoing existing online classes to students from low and middle income countries to participate in those courses. And the hope is that that'll be helpful both for the students themselves to get exposure to new material and to interesting professors and other students elsewhere, but also for the professors and the students in the ongoing classes to broaden their perspective a little bit.
Yeah, perfect. Very nice. So one of the questions that we did have is, how did you have the idea to create this initiative, and if there was anything in particular that inspired you to take action in that perspective?
There wasn't sort of a catalyzing moment, but I've long been concerned about inequity in education and opportunities broadly. And when I moved to Stockholm this past fall, I thought a little bit about how we might broaden the horizon of our teaching in my new department a little bit. And so with a few colleagues, we opened up some of the classes in Stockholm to guest students from a Kenyan partner university, and that went really well. Some of my colleagues volunteered and the Kenyan students liked that and participated with enthusiasm. And so when that worked so well, I thought, well, we can expand this to include an even broader set of both students and professors. And that's what gave birth to the website.
Oh, very nice. So you have been doing this before even you started with the online teaching with the pandemic?
No, this was just last fall when we
Yeah.
were already teaching
Ah, yeah.
online. And
Of
so
course, yes.
this was
Yeah.
purely an online enterprise. I mean, there are obviously lots of exchange programs in existence around the world where students travel physically from one university to the other, but that's very expensive and only very few students can benefit. And one of the benefits of online is that you only
Yeah.
need a laptop and an internet connection.
Yeah. Yeah. Perfect. And how would you say, what is like the main goal of this initiative, and how would you like to see it grow from here?
What's an angle? Is
Yeah.
that
Yeah, the main goal.
Oh, the main goal. So I would say there are maybe two goals. One is to give students from low and middle income countries exposure to interesting material, interesting professors, and students in other countries. That's the first one,
Hmm.
and hopefully, more good things will come from that. Maybe they develop connections that later can turn into partnerships and
Yeah.
actual student exchanges, visiting student programs, and so on. And the second goal is for students in existing classes to get exposure to new perspectives.
Hmm.
So, many of the classes that are listed on the website are development economics classes that are in some cases, or certainly when I teach development economics, I'm a white male having grown up in a rich country, and I teach development economics, about poverty and deprivation.
Hmm.
And who am I to teach my often also white and privileged students about poverty and deprivation? It'd be good to have some perspectives from people who are maybe closer to that experience. And so
Yeah.
that's the second goal, to make accessible these perspectives to students in settings like mine.
Yeah. Yeah. Very nice. And I think this touches a bit on the one of the questions that we had, is like, how do you think that all involved parties benefit from this initiative, right? So I think we already answered a little bit how students from low and middle income countries can attending these courses can benefit, but also probably it's a benefit also to regular students and to professors offering these courses, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping. I would really like for it to be a two-way road and
Yeah.
not just like, letting developing country students benefit from ongoing classes, but also
Mhm.
having it go the other way.
Yeah, very nice. Very good. Um, so one of the other questions that we have is like at FORRT, we have long advocated like for the social justice aspect of open scholarship, which is often overlooked. That making educational materials open can also facilitate increasing access to higher education. Do you see a place for the remote student exchange initiative or other similar initiatives, even after we maybe move again like to more traditional ways of teaching, not remote teaching or something like that?
In the form that it currently exists, I think that'll be hard
Mhm.
because it is fully online and it rests on many of the existing classes being online. But maybe in a modified version, it could persist and hopefully grow. So
Yeah.
one possibility might be that universities decide that they think this is a valuable initiative and they are willing to formalize the possibility for their faculty to offer classes in
Yeah.
this fashion. And so maybe faculty, even when it's either fully in person or partly in person again, may choose to have an online option that
Mm-hmm.
students
Okay.
can participate through.
Yeah.
That would be one possibility. Another one would be to grow it into an independent program where perhaps it's not existing courses that students can join, but dedicated courses. So I could see something like an online university that's staffed by professors from around the world who either volunteer or get paid some amount to teach classes to
Mm-hmm.
talented students from underprivileged backgrounds. So that's one of the ideas I'm toying with at the moment as a possible continuation of this initiative.
Yeah. Well, that would be brilliant.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
It's a dream, but yeah.
Yeah. Good luck with transforming it. But I think we still have a little bit of remote teaching to do. So
Yeah,
brilliant. Yeah.
sadly, but also thankfully from the perspective of this program, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And you mentioned that you have already been doing a little bit of this before you started with the website, right? With the remote student exchange as an initiative, like more broadly speaking.
Not a lot, but in a small way, we
Yeah.
started. So in the fall, my new colleagues at Stockholm, Ann-Sophie Kolm and Matthias Herzing, decided to open their online classes in
Hmm.
Stockholm to some students from a Kenyan partner university,
Yeah.
Strathmore in
Yeah.
Nairobi. And that met with a lot of interest from the
Yeah.
Strathmore students, and it went pretty well as far as I can tell from the point of view of the professors
Yeah.
and the existing students. And so that's what created the motivation for.
Yeah. Yeah. And can you share a little bit of how was your experience while teaching these courses? How did you perceive like the students taking it, the regular students, but also for you as a teacher?
So I haven't done it yet. These are
Okay.
just my colleagues, Anne-Sophie and Matthias, who
Hmm.
are opening up their classes. I didn't teach in the fall, and this spring I'm not teaching something that can be opened up.
Yeah.
I'm gonna, if we're still online this coming fall, I'll open up my development economics class.
Yeah.
Um, and so, but what I've heard from professors is largely positive things so far, that the students are very engaged. They show up. There was one story of a student from Peru joining a class at what for them was 2 a.m. in the morning.
Oh, wow.
And so we've seen a lot of motivation from the students. I get emails, 5 emails a day saying, oh, I haven't gotten the link. Can you send me the right link? And what's the reading? And I want to get a head start. And so there seems to be a lot of enthusiasm among the students.
Yeah, and from the teacher, is there anything that is a little bit different from like how we normally would teach like for regular students on an online course?
I haven't heard anything in that direction. The feedback that I did get from the teachers was pretty positive, that the students are very engaged and reliable and switched on.
Yeah.
So that was really nice to hear. You know, I don't know any anecdotes about what
Yeah.
might have been different, but so
Okay.
far I hear good things.
Yeah. So far, so good.
Yeah.
Yeah. And do you have any advice like for other educators that like consider joining this initiative? Like, are there any challenges that they should anticipate or anything that they should anticipate in a way?
Maybe the only challenge is having a lot of demand. Like most
Yeah.
of the classes we put on the website are heavily oversubscribed.
Okay.
That's not really a challenge. That just means that there's a lot of enthusiasm and
That's
people
actually positive. Yeah.
very eager. Yeah. And
Yeah.
so we help the professors put the class up.
Mm-hmm.
And then if they want to, we also help them screen for students so we can select the students so that
Okay.
it's a minimum of work for them.
Yeah.
So we really set it up in such a way that the professor needs to do next to nothing in
Yeah.
order to make the class available. And so far that's been working pretty well with the professors. The other thing that we've come across, so one challenge that some professors have encountered is that the home universities sometimes have preferences as to whether professors can do this or not. So some
Okay.
universities, for example, have very strict auditing policies, and some have considered this a form of auditing.
Okay.
And so what the solution that some professors have come up with for this is to say, well, this is not so much auditing, it's more like inviting a guest speaker to my class, right? Like we
Mm-hmm.
want to learn from these new students, from the guest students, to enrich the perspective of my existing students. And so that's a way in which professors can formulate the initiative vis-a-vis their own university in a way that makes it acceptable to
Yeah.
the university in many
Yeah.
cases.
Yeah, but the way that I understood the initiative and the website as well is that this is informal in a way, right? So like it shouldn't, in most cases, it shouldn't require like an approval from the university or from the department. Is that
Yeah,
correct?
I mean that's our ambition. So, but that depends a little bit on the
Yeah.
university, right? Like some
Okay.
universities have rules even about informal participation in classes. And
Mm-hmm.
I think there the answer of the professor has to be, well, they're not really, they are participating in the class, but they're contributing as
Yeah.
sort of guest experts, if you will,
Yeah.
on certain topics. And so
Yeah.
that should make it not so different from inviting a guest professor.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, very good. I hope it works like that for many people. So I think I have asked most of the questions that we have. Is there anything else that, yeah, perhaps you would like to take on the opportunity, like to explain, or I don't know, a question that you perhaps are frequently asked, and yeah, or anything else that you would like to explain about the initiative?
Maybe that I can say that if professors are interested in putting their class on the website, they're welcome to get in touch with us. The website is remotestudentexchange.org.
Mm-hmm.
And there's an email address listed there that is, I think it's professors@remotestudentexchange.org, or they can email me on my emails on my website, and we'll help them think through the process of putting up their class, and we'll even do it for them. If they just send us the syllabus, we'll
Mm-hmm.
do all the work to make the class accessible, and then we can also help them select the students and get the students the relevant links and so on. So we really try to reduce the workload for
Yeah.
professors as much as possible. And perhaps for students, if students are interested in signing up for existing classes on the website, it's really helpful to write in the application why you want to take the class and how you meet the requirements that the professor has stipulated. So if the professor says you need to have taken econometrics or microeconomics, it's good to write in your application whether and how you have taken those classes so that the professor knows that you meet the requirements that they've stipulated.
Yeah. Very good. That's a very good clarification. And yeah, thank you very much again. And it has been very nice talking to you. And we really hope that many more educators consider joining the Remote Student Exchange Initiative, and that we can see it hopefully growing even in like besides online remote teaching after the pandemic. So
I
thank you
hope so
very much.
too. Thank you very much. It's very nice to talk to you.